Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Born on this date in 1919, microbiologist Welton Taylor of Birmingham. He's best known for his work in testing for salmonella. I always want to say salmonella. It's salmonella. In 1973, dancer and former wife of Prince, Maite Garcia, originally of Fort Rucker. Today is National French Dip Day. Got to get you some of that. Now, my favorite sandwich is probably a tie between barbecue pulled pork and grilled grouper. But after those, it very well might be a French dip, unless it's a shrimp po' boy or a good Cuban, and chicken parm is in there somewhere. What time is it? I hope a lot of y'all were able to see the Northern Lights last night. It was showing off pretty good in some places by Alabama standards. Now, if you were too far south to get a good look, it's all right. I like your latitude. More politics today. We have items on our U.S. senators and an update on K. Ivy Correctional Complex, or if you prefer, the K. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. An industrial accident resulted in the death of a man who apparently wasn't supposed to be on the work site, reports AL.com's Carol Robinson. Authorities weren't releasing many details yesterday, but the Jefferson County Coroner's Office said Carson Chambliss of Birmingham suffered blunt force trauma in an incident at CMC Steel on 50th Street South. Chief Deputy Coroner Bill Yates also said that Chambliss wasn't an employee of the steel fabricator and that he was not authorized to be on the property. Republican U.S. Senator Katie Britt of Alabama reportedly was a major player in negotiating enough votes to move the Senate beyond the impasse that shut down the federal government, reports AL.com's Mike Kaysen. On Monday night, the Senate voted to end the shutdown with 60 votes, exactly the number needed to break the filibuster. Politico reported that Britt, along with fellow Republican Susan Collins of Maine and Democrat Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, was part of the core group of negotiators. Republican Majority Leader John Thune of South Dakota called Britt a rock star, and Democrat Tim Kaine of Virginia told Punch Bowl News that it was Britt who persuaded the White House to compromise on Kaine's demand that the resolution rehire workers laid off during the shutdown and prevent future layoffs. The Senate action sent that bill on to the House. Also in that agreement to end the shutdown was a provision regarding former special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into the January 6, 2020 riots at the U.S. Capitol over the presidential election. The New York Times reported that the provision allows 7 Republican senators whose records were accessed as part of that investigation to sue the government because the senators had not been notified that their information was being seized. One of those senators is Alabama's Tommy Tuberville. Tuberville has not announced whether he would sue if the measure goes all the way through to the president, but the Times reported that the measure allows the senators, 7 of them total, to sue for $500,000 on each claim. Tuberville has said that former President Joe Biden tapped his phone, but the data collected by the investigation included the date and time of calls made on the phones and not what was said. If a big government project isn't coming in late and over budget, is it really coming in at all? Probably not. The Governor K. Ivy Correction Complex, with a current estimated price tag of $1.25 billion, apparently won't be completed by May after all, and that delay is going to cost the builders, reports AL.com's Mike Kaysen. The delay was first reported by Alabama Daily News. That report said the completion date has now been moved back to October of 26. State Senator Greg Albritton, an Atmore Republican, chairs the General Fund Committee. He said the change is part of an agreement between the state and the builders. Albritton said the builder will also pay a penalty of around $9 million. The construction of another new prison in Escambia County will be next up. Both facilities will be 4,000-bed men's prisons. They're part of the state's response to calls for improvement to the state of Alabama prisons. Those calls included a lawsuit from the U.S. Justice Department that claimed the prisons are so violent here that they violate the U.S. Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Governor Ivey and others back in the prison building plan say the prisons will be safer for inmates and correctional officers and be more conducive to providing health services. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here again in the morning. Until then, y'all come by and see us anytime you can on the internet at al.com.